Hello, welcome back to True Crime Guys Podcast, special headlines and shenanigans episode. This is headlines 15, I believe, Andy, if my memory serves.
I think so. I think it's our quinceañera coming up soon.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
we got a
so.
big party soon. Yay!
Right. It's just before the Sweet 16. Unless this is 16, just look at the title. I checked before I posted for sure.
Either way, we're getting a sweet party.
Either way, exactly. Guys, if you don't know, we have a regular episode on Patreon this month. Some more cold shit. And it's some of the darkest cold shit I think we've ever done. But guys, if this is your first headlines and shenanigans, thank you for joining us. What we try to do in this show is to, first and foremost, grab whatever is in the top world of true crime, whatever is the buzzword for right now, what's going on in the true crime world. We want to stay connected as well as bringing you guys cases you haven't heard of. So we take this off week, if you will, where we actually do 2 episodes on our off week. But we take this episode to update you guys on some of the things that we think are important in the true crime world and or technology like today. We talk a lot about AI here on Headlines and Shenanigans. And today, I think it's one of the scariest developments in AI yet. So, Andy, if you want to introduce that.
Yes, we have talked a lot about AI on Headlines and Shenanigans and on our previous episodes of Strange Shorts, if you remember that. We talked a lot about the advancement of AI. We talked about how it was coming into the writing world and the production world. And there was a whole thing about, with the strikes that happened over the past summer. So right now we are seeing a new onset of AI right here with the first ever launch of the completely fully staffed and fully generated AI news network. Not just a channel like this is, or not just a show. This is a full, completely AI generated news network. And when they talk about it's AI generated, all the anchors, all the images, all the stories will be completely generated from AI.
Well, hold on. Not the stories aren't being generated like out of thin air.
Yes, when I say the stories, they are being written from AI algorithms because they're taking actual information. They're watching C-SPAN or other news networks or meteorology things. They're looking at this information and it's going right into an AI generator and it's generating the script for an AI-generated news anchor to then present to the audience.
As of right now, that's what they're doing. So, I mean, you can imagine how fast they could get news out, but also you have to consider that they'll never be first.
To an extent,
At least right now.
Yes, you hope they will never be first. Hopefully they will be the ones. I mean, they could generate a few things like when it comes to C-SPAN, when it comes to political hearings. If they are actively watching the minute that these things occur, they could be right alongside with some of those breaking journalists who are right outside the newsroom. So yeah, that could be very quickly. But yes, with other bigger stories, they're not really going to be first. You're going to already have this information that's come out, and then it's been fed through the AI to then present it to you again.
Exactly.
So yeah, like I said, Channel 1 News, that's the name of this news network that's coming out. They are the first artificial intelligence generated news shows, and they released their first demo to the world this past week. It's a 21-minute demo, and we're going to watch the first 30 seconds of it so we can actually talk about it for you guys.
Right.
But we've watched the whole clip, and it's a little weird, guys.
Right. First off, before we play this little clip, I don't want you guys to be confused. You may remember, and I was talking with Andy about this before the show. When I was in middle school, we used to watch this news program called Channel 1 News. And it was basically a news program made for young adults, for middle school to high school age kids. And Andy doesn't remember it, apparently. But that's where I watched the 9/11 event. In 7th grade, I watched that. We got called back to our homeroom classes, and I went in there, and I remember it was a Channel 1 news special in the middle of the day, not in the morning like we always watched it. But it's not that. If you did watch that when you went to school, I don't know if that's nationwide. I don't know if that's a Southern thing or if that's regional.
It was nationwide. They had real anchors on there.
Yeah, they have an IMDb.
It must be real.
Come on, right?
But no, I didn't watch. Sorry, I had a bit more of a grizzled teacher who was just like, "We're watching CNN right now, sit in the back,
watching C-SPAN,
just smoking a cigarette, looking at the TV with a bunch of children behind her, like, oh my god, we'll call you parents in a little bit, kids. Right?
Everybody sit down, shut up.
Everyone sit down." So yeah, my teacher didn't put on any kind of like child friendly programming. We just like, oh, that's live. Damn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had to show this to us. Like, this was part of the curriculum or whatever.
Oh, yeah. But, so yeah, we're going to watch the first 30 seconds of this clip, and we'll talk about how the AI-generated anchors, they look real, and at the same time, you can tell they're not.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going to roll that clip for us.
Hello, and welcome to Channel One, a new way of consuming, reporting, and thinking about the news powered by artificial intelligence. Today, you'll witness AI-generated stories and headlines, captivating visuals, and data-driven insights. From global news to finance to entertainment, we'll show you how technology enables us to bring you a global perspective 24/7, right from the heart of our AI-native newsroom. All presented by our team of AI-generated reporters.
Maybe you hear the words artificial intelligence and you're immediately skeptical or concerned about technology gone crazy. But everything you'll see on Channel One relies on trusted sources and fact-checking, and uses AI to give you news the way you want it, personalized, localized, and distilled.
All right, Michael. So can you see what we're talking about with the AI anchors?
Yeah, they're like 95% human on TV.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? Like, I can still obviously tell it's not a human.
Right, it's
especially
the hands.
when they zoom in.
It's the hands for me. It's the unnatural hand movements. This
The
guy
hand
just
motion
like
is very repetitive.
it's never
right?
breaking eye
It's the
contact and never.
clasping and the releasing.
Yeah, it's
and
just. You could just tell that's not how humans move. You can't generate nerves. You can't generate uncertainty. So it's
right.
just like
and there was one in particular that it almost bordered on like PlayStation 5 graphics, and it was where they zoomed into this guy at a desk, and he had he had the newsroom behind him. You could even see blurry figures moving around behind him, and he's sitting at the desk, kind of like with a close, kind of like this angle, but really close, and you could tell. Just something was a little bit off. Something about the way his mouth was moving. It was a little too consistent.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's the unmoving of the eyes. It's like they're not reading a teleprompter. They're not doing. It's like they know what they are saying, and there's no need for them to look anywhere else. It's like that dead
actually,
shark stare.
That's the way you should be, though. To be fair,
I mean, yes, but at the same time,
there's AI, or technology that can make your eyes look at the camera. I wish I could afford it. I'm sure other people are like, yeah, me too. I wish you could afford it too.
But it does give a little bit of the realness away of an anchor reading a news story to you, of seeing it, of them having to read it to you and deliver it to you. They don't. This is so it makes it so it's scripted,
right?
But it's not scripted. If that means anything,
I think here's where this news channel is really going to benefit is the fact that they can get it out everywhere so quickly. Like, yes, they may not be the first one to report it, but right after that first one does, they will have it everywhere, everywhere.
In any like in the video they show, it's a 20-minute video. It switches. It shows you how any anchor can speak any language, put any emphasis in any dialect. They can have different anchors and different hosts for different segments, depending on what culture they're a part of or what part of the world they're watching this in. And each one can have their own personalities and own mannerisms.
Right.
So this thing can be tailored to exactly who it needs to be fed to. So yeah, like Michael's saying. The co-founders of this are reporting they're hoping to have between 500 and 1,000 segments per day, which can be consumed via an ad-supported app or video platforms.
Jeez, like you don't even need to know about that as a human. There's not how many? Would you say 500 to 1,000 segments per day? There's not 500 news stories that pertain to you.
No. And I'm wondering when they say 500 to 1,000, is that how many different ones they're doing in different languages? Or is that how many different versions of the same story they're doing? Because there's not 1,000 stories that need to be newsworthy that are going on every single day. Yes,
all over the world, Andy. All over the world.
I guess, but at the same time, it's like, how are they? I don't know.
And then you consider how it comes out. And then you consider updates, and then they're probably going to have a weather channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? They're counting all those segments too. Sports, news. I mean, might as well. It's all AI. You might as well cover everything.
So yeah, okay. When you put it that way, I do understand. Yeah, it's not just news stories.
Adds up
It'll
quick.
be weather and sports.
Exactly.
And, regular, just other things that news people do.
Yeah.
But so one thing they do need to say, and it's kind of creepy that the AI says it in the first 30 seconds of the video.
It really is.
Where they're like, when most people hear AI, they think scary computers taking over. And you're like, Well, that's not great to hear a computer say that.
Right.
But yeah, they do want to emphasize that the news will not be completely run by robots. They are going to have editors. They are going to have, directors. They are going to have and producers who are going
Right.
back. They're checking over the stories. They're checking over the presentation to make sure some AI anchor is not all of a sudden with one eye over here and a horn.
Right,
It's
right.
not going to be weird and stuff. They are going to have humans going back and double checking.
Dude, they could have the best Halloween newscast ever.
Oh my God, yes. I'm just imagining just the fact that it's like
You
you can have literally anyone reporting the news.
Any
though.
character.
You can just bring back Dan Rather forever. You can just bring back Walter Cronkite
just
forever.
have like a zombie from The Last of Us. Just hanging out. They're telling you the news.
Any fake news report. The news reporter from The Simpsons is literally giving you the actual news at all times. Like, they could AI generate
Speaking
anyone
of-
to do the news.
Speaking of, my daughter told me about a TikTok channel that she follows, and it is the fish anchor from SpongeBob. But it's
Yes.
actual news. It's actual daily news that is true and relevant, but it's the SpongeBob fish giving it to you.
Yeah, this just in.
Looks like a what is it? A Billy Bass? What was that?
The big mouth bass.
Yeah, the big mouth Billy
Don't
Bass.
worry.
Looks like one of those things. It just doesn't bend.
Exactly.
Straight up.
Just a mounted bass that someone put like a puppet's mouth on.
Exactly.
But yeah, so they do want to emphasize that there are going to be producers, there are going to be people actually involved in this.
Sure, there are.
But it's like they
Just
want
a
to say,
lot less, so they can make a lot more money.
yeah, there's not going to be a whole crew out there. There's not going to be cameramen and gaffers and
No.
and makeup people and people all around there
Dude,
going
they don't-
like,
they're
"Here's
not
the
even gonna
script,
be
here's the
on scene."
teleprompter." Exactly. There's not going to be anyone on the scene, anyone on set. There's only going to be a guy looking at a monitor, seeing if this is right.
Yep.
And going back and double checking it before it goes out to say, like, is this correct information or is it not? Because that is one thing they want to emphasize as well. It's not going to be fake news.
Right,
It's not
right.
going to be a computer writing its own news
Even though all
stories.
news is fake news, but
I mean, oh, right. Any news that I don't tell you, it's not real.
that tracks.
That's how Michael gets his news.
True story.
But like there isn't a computer writing the stories. What it is, like these are not things that have not happened. It's not some fan fiction about things. They're going to be talked about. They're going to actually
Unfortunately.
be fed through actual things.
Yeah, yeah.
But they will be using the artificial technology in a number of ways. They will have translation capabilities that can feature on the ground, real life reporters from around the world to get you closer to a particular story. In other cases, it's even possible to create footages of events where cameras were not able to capture them. So they're almost going to be like, how they have like an artist's
Exaggerating.
rendering of something.
Right.
They do a whole thing about a courtroom sketch. It's not a real image. It's just an artist rendering. So now they're going to be able to show fake, images or fake events or reenactments, not just be like,
Okay,
oh, this was an
that
actor doing this. They're just going to have a computer generated. This is what it looked like when that train went through that oil rig going
See,
through. And
that aspect of it is actually going to be really handy. That might be, especially in true crime, where you could explain a crime scene better because you could actually do a layout, have the AI write a complete layout of that the body was here, the victim was here, the guy approached from this side of the car, whatever. You can see those play out in real time while they're telling you the news, and you will digest it better that way.
Yeah, you won't have to have actors go out and recreate this scene and
Yeah.
refilm it and have to pay out. Yes, it will save you a lot of money in those aspects and time and things like that.
And it's not lying.
It's
not fake.
And they will have all these warning signs that says this was an image created by AI. This is a computer rendering. This is not. Of
course.
But they will also be showing real images and real footages because they showed in the demo. They show towards the end what their stories should look like and what the kind of translations you can get and what kind of mannerisms you should expect.
Yeah, guys, we put the link to the full video below, so you can check that out.
Yeah, so right there, they do show you how this is one story that we would cover, and this is how the news would be presented in that manner, and this is a different story we would cover, and they do 3 different examples. So yeah, right now this thing should be going out. There is I think when is the launch expected to be?
Good question, Andy.
I was about to say,
Let's
they
see.
said,
Are they not out already? I don't
let's
think
say-
so.
I don't think they're out yet. They released their first demo episode, yes, this week. It does not have a list right now.
Yeah, because this article is from December 14th. Was that 2 days ago?
Yes, this was 2 days ago as of recording. They don't have an actual listed date for when this should be dropping on this article. Maybe see if we can find another one about it.
Yeah.
But as of right now, these guys they're trying to get this entire network launched.
They'll be out by the first of the year.
Yeah. They do ask, there's a question is like, will viewers be duped by false energy? They do say they want to have that covered.
False
They
energy.
will
Well, that's
say
your
that-
problem, right?
Like,
Whatever
we're going to be
energy-
showing you that this is, or have all these warning signs and all these
Yeah.
different, it's like just flashing on the corner. Not a
weird.
person. Not a person. Just
Why
like
does that matter? I mean, if you were watching animated news, but it was accurate, nobody would care.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have to. I mean, obviously, you would. I see why you wouldn't have to say not a person if it's animated. Like, I get that, but I mean, it's kind of their whole shtick. I'm sure they're gonna. Or are they gonna not advertise that? You think once they launch, it's like this is gonna be. They came out, they're full AI news, but then that's all you're going to hear about it. And then it's just going to operate like a regular news station from here on out. It's not going to be like your number one source for AI generated news.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think
they're not
they're
going to
gonna
say that.
I don't think they're going to say that either.
No,
That's
they're
one of the
not.
things that I did think about. And it does say that they expect to launch this in 2024, but they don't actually give a date for it yet. So that's why they don't have an actual date.
Right.
But I was thinking the same thing. Are they going to advertise that it's AI? Are they going to start generating these anchors? And are they going to start trying to build this anchor like it's a real person? Start building a following for this anchor, just like someone like a Walter Cronkite had,
Well,
or
they
someone
did-
like a Dan Rather had.
They did mention in the video that at one point, I do remember a line specifically where one lady said that they wanted the anchors to have personalities. Mm-hmm. They wanted them. That's basically what they're being generated for. There's going to be a consistency. So every time you see that AI generated anchor, he or she is going to be acting a certain way.
Yeah,
the way
and
they
those
typically
things
do.
should develop, and they should have memories to an extent where they
Yeah.
can reference things, and that's what they want you to be able to build a sense of trust to these things,
Mm-hmm.
just like you would to a normal anchor, just to a normal journalist. They want you to look at this AI generated person and as if it was Anderson Cooper telling you the news,
Right.
or as if it was Walter Cronkite telling you the news. They want you to trust this person, so they're going to build a completely generated AI figure that's going to be catered to your area, to your culture, to your, background, to your economic system. They're going to try and cater it to whoever they want it to be.
That is a great point, Andy, because they're going to get carried away with that. I can already see that.
I mean, I
can
guess to an
already see
extent,
that.
yes.
Yeah, different regions of countries are going to see different news reports.
They're going to see different news reporters. They're like, it should not generate different information.
I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
but the way the information is delivered is going to be different.
That's going to be a big question too, because I was thinking
Is
about
this
that.
area
How are they going to be able
heavily
to?
left wing? Is this area heavily right wing? You know, is this area very religious? Maybe we tailor it a little bit like this.
True. That's what I was wondering. Since they're not going to they are going to be running off ads. They are going to be running off those things, but they're not going to be running off of the same sort of, this network is a left wing. This network is a right wing. It's supposed to be looking at actual
but
things.
the AI is obviously going to pick that shit up.
They are, and wherever it's being delivered to, are they going to cater the way that the news is delivered to the audiences that they are showing it to? Is the information going to be changed at all? Is the emphasis on different things going to be changed? A comma in a sentence changes a whole different things. A pause in a sentence changes a whole different thing.
Right.
So are these AI things going to start, saying things differently to whoever they are, or wherever they are putting the information out?
Definitely.
But so yeah, we're going to keep an eye on this because I want to see some more kind of footages and kind of things that they're going to be I want to see what this is going to look like. I want to see what their sports cast is going to look like, or their weather cast is going to look like. I want to see what some of the different mannerisms will look like, to see if there's ever going to be something I look at and see as an AI generated anchor, am I ever going to look at it and trust it? The same way I trust a reputable news anchor or journalist.
I think just like with everything else, it'll come with time. The more you see it on your feed, eventually you're not even going to know that it's an AI character. And like what we talked about earlier, it's not like they're going to open every newscast stating that they are an AI newscast. So eventually, and as technology improves, I mean, look how amazing it is already. You can barely tell. And that, like I said, and it's really, you can only tell when it's zoomed in. And we were watching it on a 29-inch computer screen. If you're watching it on your phone, zoomed out, you're not even going to notice. You're watching this news on Snapchat or something, and you're scrolling through, I bet you money you probably aren't even going to notice that it's an AI anchor already.
And a lot of the times, as we did see in the video, you're not even seeing the anchor delivering the story the whole time. It's going to images. It's going to footage. It's going to different image. It's going to different
very smooth,
visual things so that you're not distracted by an AI generated anchor.
I just thought of, what they got to do? They got to do the delay from the anchor to the field reporter. They got to do the delay, or that's going to be a dead give. If they go back to you, Jen, hey, how's it going? Oh,
they start interrupting each other in real time.
No delay?
No, it's like,
I'm out.
I'm sorry. What the? Are you talking on a landline? What is this? Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that field reporter just look. Hey, Jim, thank you for getting back to me. Like they need to have like an audible pause.
Yep. If he doesn't do that, it's AI, dead giveaway.
But again, I want to see how a reporter, like an AI generated reporter, would look like, because they're not going to be. They can't be on the scene.
Dude, they showed some examples.
But I'm saying like an actual AI reporter can't be like on the scene of like a natural disaster.
So what they do is they take the footage, superimpose the AI reporter onto the footage.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they're not going to be able to like react real, like a person like looking back and being like, "Holy shit, Jim, everything's on fire! I can feel the heat. The screams are terrifying."
That's a great point. Otherwise, they're just going. Actually, they're just going to be standing there with a hurricane going on.
Yeah, they're just going to be standing like Ollie Williams from Family Guy.
Hurricanes.
It's going to rain. It's raining sideways. Yeah, my umbrella's gone. I didn't need one, actually.
Ollie had to yell at least, and shit happened to him. His clothes were moving.
I know.
This reporter's going to be sitting here like...
Yeah, they can't be on the scene
forgot to code the weather effect
like a real person would be, because it's like, you're not feeling any of that. You're not actually terrified. You don't actually feel empathy for what's going on around you. But you're just reporting the news.
But then again, how strong is this AI? Can you say, make this reporter be in the rain, in heavy winds? I mean, where does it end, Andy?
That can be fine, but the second they start like reacting to a real scenario as like a human would, because a human is going to report on something with emotion and with empathy and with sympathy for what's going on. An AI is not going to be able to look at a tragedy going on behind them, like a hospital burning down, and feel what a news reporter would feel.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like just like we talked about 9/11. An AI generated anchor is not going to be able to deliver the news of 9/11 the same way an actual human would have been able to deliver that, because they're not going to have all the emotional baggage a human does that goes along with being a human.
Right. Right. But some people may see that as an advantage because they can get the information out there without breaking up.
Yeah, they won't break down. They won't have to cut away. They won't have to do those things. True. But yeah, we're going to have some awkward situations if they try and put a field reporter out there. You're like,
we just have to get over it. It's part of our lives, and it's just going to take over more and more. Pretty soon, every damn Netflix show is going to be AI generated.
Please don't know. That's what the whole strike
Andy,
was about.
Let me tell you, hard truth.
People fought for.
Humans are lazy.
I know. I work here.
They are lazy, and they're gonna freaking take the easy way out, especially if they make the same amount of money. And if that's all there is to watch, you gonna watch it.
I guess so. I mean,
almost everything is a repeat of something else already. So why does it even matter at this point?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm a big anti-AI guy when it comes to visual media. I'm fine with some of the
creativity in
art
general
and graphic designs, but when it comes to acting and writing and stuff like that, I'm like, nope, that's a person, that's an emotion. A computer can't do an emotion. They can't feel it. They don't have a memory to tie it to. So I'm like, I can see how these things can start being produced and edited and, changed, but I don't know. Just the fact that it's going to be a fully run AI news organization that's anchored by AI generated anchors and, fed through all these different computer things, I'll have to figure out how much I can trust that comparatively to a human with emotions and sympathy and empathy.
Yeah. Like I said, Andy, you'll get used to it.
I will get used to it.
You'll get used to it. People that make stuff from scratch, it'll be like cobblers, people who record
Artisans.
all their own music and write their own scripts.
We'll be artisanal at this point.
Yeah, right.
Maybe our services will start going up.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to be like a blacksmith or a cobbler or something, just be like outdated, but a master of a craft.
Yeah, you're going to have to start seeing things on products that say made by human hand.
Back in my day, we had to write our own podcast scripts.
Put together by human hand. Made by human. It's like, I don't even care if it's like made by adult hand anymore. It's like, human people made this. A human made this. That's great. A real person made this.
They're still working with their hands. That's cute.
But yeah, like Michael, that's our main story this week. I said we didn't have many big other news things like the Samuel Haskins case. We were going to try and see if there's any Haskell, not Haskins. We're going to see if there's any follow-ups to that. As of right now, not too big. He's kind of just got seen by a judge right now. He's going to have a day in court. We'll follow up after that.
Right.
Other than that, there was not too many big news headlines that came out this week.
Right, but there are some funny ones.
There is another funny one that we could share with, and we can kind of end on.
I was hoping you had a funny one.
If you want to end with a bit of a giggle.
I always want to end with a bit of a giggle.
All right, well, right here, Michael, this story that I can bring to you, this story had a pretty shitty first half, but goddamn, they did correct it right here.
Okay.
So a murder conviction of a Chicago man who has spent 12 years behind bars was overturned because the key eyewitness in the case was legally blind.
Well, see, I can see the issue there.
I mean,
I can see the issue there.
I can see. Did you see this with your hands? Did you feel the crime
I feel
that
like
happened?
This question has to be asked. What did he testify? Did he testify that he heard a sound?
No, he testified that he saw him, that he knew who it was, that
Okay.
he put this man at the scene of the crime.
Okay, see, there you have a problem.
Yes, that's where you have a problem.
Yeah, because blind people can't see, Andy.
Because blind people can't
They
eyewitness
can't.
something.
You know what this reminds me of? Hear No Evil, See No Evil with Richard Pryor and Gene
Yeah,
Wilder.
yes. A blind man
love that
can't
movie.
eyewitness something. They
love
can
that movie.
hear something,
Yeah,
but they
yeah,
can,
yeah.
But yeah, legally blind. Now, this person was not, fully blind, but still legally blind.
Okay.
The witness was allegedly suffering from advanced glaucoma at the time of the crime, severely limiting visibility. Surveillance video from the scene also revealed the eyewitness was much further away than he had initially claimed to be, according to the Exoneration Project.
Oh, man.
If you guys have heard of the Exoneration Project, it's one of those things that goes around. They try to exonerate people who
Oh,
are
yeah, is that what they
wrongfully
do?
accused. It's kind of
Right,
right there in the name.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, a Chicago man who spent more than a decade in prison was found guilty of murder, primarily based off of the testimony of a blind eyewitness. We'll get a
Wow.
new trial, his attorney said. Listen, you can be a blind lawyer. I'm all about Daredevil and some Matt Murdock, but you
Right.
can't be a blind eyewitness. I'm
they
just
didn't
saying.
notice when he was like shaking the stick around on the floor while he's walking up to the stand. He's just like smacking people in the shins.
Sir, can you take the stand?
Sir,
He's
could
just
you
like handing his way all the way down, not looking at the judge, being like, "Sir, I'm over here." What? It's like, this is your eyewitness. I'm not trying to be mean here,
trying
but
to be mean.
What do you
No,
think?
nobody
you saw?
caught it, man. Maybe he practiced.
But yeah,
maybe he went in the courtroom, got familiar with it,
got
walked
familiar.
up there with confidence.
Someone had a laser light in the back that he could see.
Right.
But Darian Harris, was 30 years old, was convicted following a 2011 shooting that left 23-year-old Rondell Moore dead and another seriously injured. The Chicago Tribune has reported Harris, who is black and was 18 at the time, has always maintained his innocence. After attorney Lauren Mayers-Gober with the Exoneration Project, who's representing Harris, Mr. Harris spent 12 years wrongfully imprisoned, having been arrested when he was just 18, she says. His conviction was secured almost solely through the testimony of a blind eyewitness, who the court repeatedly referred to as credible when they convicted Mr. Harris. The eyewitness was allegedly suffering from advanced glaucoma, like we said,
Oh, wow.
and had severely limited visibility. The
Oh,
surveillance
okay.
footage, which they also linked to the crime and that was also part of his case, proves that the witness was much further away than they had initially claimed when they told their statement to the police.
Right. And yeah, man, if you have like glaucoma, if you have any blind spots, because a lot of times that glaucoma starts in the middle. Like you lose that straight on vision, right? And then you have peripheral. So that straight on vision is extremely important for the details. You know what I'm saying? Like you still may be able to make out who people are and their basic body shape, but looking at somebody in your peripheral vision, you cannot describe their facial features. I don't care what you say.
From a distance, especially.
Dude, from right here, if I look just off of your face, I can't describe it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know that for a fact. My girlfriend, her ex-partner has macular degeneration, and when you have any sort of ocular degeneration or macular degeneration, any kind of thing that's going to impair your vision, especially after a certain distance, you're not getting an accurate representation of what happened.
Right.
So several years ago, Harris's family and the legal team had urged Cook County State to look into the case, arguing that the witness had allegedly failed to disclose that they were legally blind. I'm talking about the victim here. This was Moore. I'm sorry. Moore, the victim, had pulled into a local gas station and he was apparently shot 3 times. He ran from the gas station and died in a parking lot, and a local mechanic who had been helping Moore was shot and injured during the shooting. The newspaper then reports a surveillance video showed a man walking from a black Lexus to the area where the shooting occurred and then running away. The face not being visible in the video.
Right.
So Harris has always maintained that he was at home watching a basketball game at the time of the shooting, and he was arrested days after the murder, convicted, and sentenced to 76 years in prison by a now retired judge.
Wow.
That's a lot of years
At 18
for no other things but a witness.
At 18, man.
At 18. So yeah, you got some security footage that you cannot see a person's face on, and you have a witness testimony that later was revealed to be legally blind. So yeah, another witness in the case claims that officers similarly attempted to coerce her to identify Mr. Harris, the organization says in their statement. The organization said during the trial, the alleged getaway driver in the shooting unequivocally recanted his initial statements identifying Harris and alleged that police coerced him into making a false identification by threatening to send him to jail for the rest of his life. So apparently they did get the getaway driver, but they couldn't get the shooter, and they just got this guy to point a finger at Damien Harris.
So it's not really the witness's fault. He was pressured into being a witness in the first place.
Well, no, this was another witness in the case.
Another witness. Okay.
But so yeah, they're actually putting some fingers pointing at the police and the judge in this crime, saying they were looking for a scapegoat, they were looking for someone to fit the bill, and they just happened to grab this guy.
Right.
But
well,
yeah,
the fact that they tried to coerce her, you don't think they tried to coerce the blind man?
Oh, I'm sure they absolutely did. I'm sure that they knew he was not. I'm not going to say that. I'm not sure. There's possibly a inclination that they knew he could not see very well, but they just knew that he was at the scene and he could put a finger there. They could point a finger. So
right.
We'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know, Michael, that sometimes when you're a blind man, your eyewitness testimony to a crime that you saw from a pretty good distance away may not be really good in court.
Less than credible.
Maybe less than credible in court. I'm just saying, blind man, you can do a lot of things when you're blind. You can do all kinds of things.
That's right.
But visually witness a crime from a distance.
But you know what you can do? You could witness a smell.
You can witness a smell, Michael.
You could.
You could smell something from a pretty good distance away. And I know what you're talking about.
Yep. And if that criminal was wearing Oh My God, because they would smell amazing.
Could you imagine if Daredevil was actually out there? He would know every single person. He's like, I know where you at.
I know where you
If you're in that Oh My God.
Egyptian Musk, is that you? I see you over there.
I know what you're doing over there. What are
True Crime Pine?
Laundering money? Laundering money over there? That's a crime. I know what you're doing over there.
Right. But guys, Oh My Gaia is an innovative all-natural deodorant, fragrance, and beard oil company specializing in paraben and aluminum-free products. Their innovative line of deodorants inhibit the growth of odor-causing bacteria while still maintaining effectiveness. And as we alluded to, Oh My Gaia has tons of scents to choose from, guys. You can check it out at ohmygaia.com. They have vanilla, cherry almond, sandalwood, lavender, lemongrass, Egyptian musk, coconut, dreamsicle, leather, lumberjack, honeysuckle, fireside. So many scents, guys. Great place to start, in my opinion, is True Crime Pine. And because you're True Crime Guys listeners, you can use the word CREEPER for 15% off your order. That's CREEPER for 15% off your order at shop_ohmygaia on Instagram. Make sure you give them a follow, or ohmygaia.com. ohmygaia.com, guys. You will not regret it. They also have beard oils and scented oils.
Oh, I put that True Crime Pine in my beard all the time, especially during the winter time. Keeps that beard nice and smooth.
Oh, yeah, it does. It does. It takes care of the scraggly hairs, too, man. And it smells good.
I just can't wait till you start getting that mustache wax. When you gonna start getting that Oh My God and just curling that mustache up.
Just swindle it up.
Michael's going to break in the new year with a bowler hat and a curl. Coming like a Gatsby New Year.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. That's pretty much it for True Crime Guys this week. Do we have one more episode this month? I think we have one more episode this month.
I think we got one more episode coming up right before Christmas time, Michael.
Yeah, we'll have another freebie coming out, guys, and then it'll be Happy New Year. Speaking of, though, at the New Year, we will no longer have free trials for Patreon, guys, so if you're gonna get some free shit, you better do it now. Patreon.com/TrueCrimeGuys, where you can get 7-day free trial on the $2 tier right now, which basically gives you access to every True Crime Guys Patreon exclusive, like the one we recorded this week, and as well as all the other past True Crime Patreon exclusives and Vault episodes. For $5 a month, you get access to everything we have there. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. We'll see you back next week here with another crazy true crime case. Andy, you got anything?
Oh, no, I'm so ready to just get out of this past Patreon week. I just want to get back to something that's not awful. Just go. Just please. Anything else, Michael? Anything
Fair
else?
enough. Fair enough. Anything else?
We get a
All right,
heist
guys.
in here or something.
We'll see what we can do. Until then, guys, keep on creeping.
Bye.